All right, Manuel Pellegrini is the West Ham United manager. Excited? Bit exciting. I think it's exciting. Certainly different. We're used to such crap news at West Ham. This is, I think it's a bit of good news, something a bit positive, something to get behind, and something to look forward to. So it's yeah, I keep changing my mind on it, really. I think it's not so much a reaction video, because I've not reacted today. I reacted 5 days ago. We all knew this was coming, didn't we? So we've all been waiting for the deal to be announced, and up until that point we've all been just sort of waiting for it to happen. So it's not really a reaction, but I've certainly changed my mind to a few days ago when myself and Gio did a cup of tea, when I didn't really want him. He was the least of my four choices, the four choices that Gio gave me. We'll get into that in a minute. Normally I do a webcam video with Gio, but he's not able to be on the webcam. He's down in London. He's at London at the moment at the Gary Barlow concert. So I'm sure he'll do a video once he's finished singing all the classic Gary Barlow and Take That songs, and throwing his roses on the stage and all that sort of thing. Before we get into, what's happened, and me sort of changing my mind and looking at the evidence about Pellegrini, and in particular his time at Malaga and whatnot, I just want to address something that has really been going on in particular social media, and something I waded into myself, and I just must explain where it's all come from. The accusation on social media is that some people are suspicious that the owners might not fulfil all their promises. They might get Pellegrini, and if they do, they won't quite back him. People are suspicious that it's not the right appointment or made for the right reasons. And there's been a bit of a storm kicked up, which has certainly been almost forcing everyone to be mega positive about this appointment. And the accusation is, if you are not positive, and if you are not fully behind the owners and fully behind the appointment, then you are so full of hatred, and you're just not thinking of anything reasonably, and your opinion is discounted totally. That's been the accusation on there, and I've sort of tried to rally against that in the last couple of days, because I just think there are valid reasons for people to be concerned. And I think the starting point, before you even get into the owners, is you don't have to fancy this manager in particular. You can be worried that he almost was in semi-retirement. You can be worried that actually 2 years in China might have diluted not just his sharpness for competitive football, but also maybe his contacts within the game. He's not in the European game. Does he know the latest players coming through? Has he been able to even watch the Premier League when he's been out? I'm not suggesting they don't have tellies or anything like that, but is he in the heart of it? Is his age a problem? We were promised a younger manager. So I think there are legitimate things. Also, I mean, his team are in China in the bottom half, comfortably in the bottom half, conceded more goals than they've scored. So there are legitimate concerns of why you might not want Manuel Pellegrini that don't necessarily mean that you're just a hater and negative on all things West Ham. I also think this thing about fully getting behind the board regardless is an absolute crocker. What's it? I really do. Let's make one thing abundantly clear here. They have got very little credit with the West Ham fans. They do not deserve any blind faith at all. So if people are concerned that them having brought in a new manager, which is a good step, that having got him in, they won't provide him with the necessary funds to do the job, the board are going to have to accept that, because they made that chain for themselves, link by link. I can tell you, every time we have been promised something, we have been let down. They made a 10-point pledge. We were let down. They promised us big and better things when we moved to Upton Park. We've been let down. No wonder, as a fan base, we are suspicious. So now we have a manager, a top-level manager, and now apparently we're going to go and buy a lot of better players to move us up to the next level. Well, this is why we're suspicious. We've heard this before. We've heard this all before. And let's be fair, this should have happened 2 years ago. They have had to be dragged kicking and screaming over hot coals to do this. Fans had to run onto the pitch. They had to congregate outside the director's box. There had to be numerous marches planned, and the mainstream media had to turn against the owners before they did anything. So, I think as West Ham fans, you will allow us a little bit of cynicism if we don't look at this and think, oh well, that's it now. the leopard has changed its spots. The new manager's coming in. They're going to give him 60, 70 million and whatever, all the sales from players. We just don't believe it. Obviously, we hope it happens. We hope they do change. Surely, we want West Ham to do well. We want West Ham to win. We want West Ham to play attacking football. But they don't deserve blind faith. They're not starting from scratch. They're starting from 2 steps back. We have been mostly lied to. Most of the promises have not come to fruition. So, of course, we're going to be a little bit suspicious. That's my little rant on that one. And I just want to put it out there that it's okay. You don't have to toe the line on this. You can have independent thought if you really want to. That being said, I think it is exciting. And I'm starting to get more excited about it. When Gio first put the suggestion to me the other night on Cup of Tea, for those of you that watched it, it was Fonseca, Emery, Benitez, and obviously Pellegrini. Well, I've got to say, out of 4, Pellegrini was my least favourite. If you see the video, if you watched it, you'll know that was the case. I gave my reasoning on that for a lot of reasons I've already given. I just thought he was detached from the game. I was looking at Fonseca or Emery as the younger managers. I thought that was the way we were going, and to bring through younger players and new systems and this, that and the other. And I was quite suspicious about it. I was also suspicious about him coming up to us for a bit of retirement in many respects. The fact that we might have had to coerce him out of retirement. How up for it is he? How motivated is he? George Graham said something years ago, which is never buy a player who thinks he's doing you a favour. And it was always, George Graham was the manager of Arsenal at the time, and it was always his belief in Liverpool, who were, arguably, you'd probably say the bigger club at the time, never buy players off Liverpool who are moving down and think they're doing you a favour. And I think there was a certain amount of that with me as well, and it just wasn't the appointment I was looking at. Also, Gio gave me a list of 4 names. If I had to make a list of 10 names last week or the week before, Pellegrini wouldn't have been on it. He wouldn't even have come on my radar, right? Pardon the expression. Crikey. So he wouldn't have even been there. Wouldn't have been the mindset. So I think it was hard to get my head around it. So then it became more apparent that it looked like he was going to sign. And then somebody on Twitter posted some videos, and what they were little videos of, I guess, little tactical sermons, for want of a better phrase, where he was talking about his philosophy for the game. And it started to change my mind, I've got to say. He seemed to really advocate attacking football. He talked about possession-based football, but the one thing that got my mind was, that got my attention, should I say, was he was speaking about attacking with wingers, fast-paced wingers. Well, hold on, this is what I like. And then he went on to talk about 2 strikers. There was this whole video about why you should play 2 strikers. Then it started to. I don't follow a lot of football. People that watch this stuff regularly, I don't. I watch West Ham. I watch a lot of West Ham. But you ain't going to see. You're not going to find me sitting down watching Leicester against West Brom. You're really not. I wouldn't even sit down and watch Man City against Leicester. I just don't watch other teams play football, seriously. So it's not always in the forefront of my mind. But then I started to remember when I heard this. When I heard his thoughts on the game, actually he did used to play with sort of Negredo and then Aguero, and then or Dzeko would be on there, and I thought actually he did often play with 2 strikers, and I love that. I love that. That's one thing that I hate about the modern game, is that everyone packs midfield and nobody plays with 2 strikers, or very few do. Leicester did it under Ranieri, funny enough, which is another name that was linked with us. But having been brought up, particularly as a kid, on the Cottee and McAvenny partnership, I've always been a fan of striking partnerships. Even later, you look at other clubs, Shearer and Sutton and Andy Cole and Dwight York and so on and so forth, Rush and Dalglish. Strike partnerships were a big thing. And when I started to listen to that, I thought, do you know what? Maybe there is something in this. Maybe this guy has got something to offer. And then I started to delve a little bit deeper. Same guy again. I'm really sorry, I can't remember his name, but I do apologise. I think he posted 3 videos, and there was just all this stuff about his philosophy, about attacking, about going for it, about not concerning yourself with what the opposition is doing too much. And I like that. I like that. Excuse me, I'm speaking so much, getting a dry throat. I just think we have obsessed so much with some of our managers. Moyes obsessed so much with the opposition. He was scared. He'd scared the life out of himself that he lined up in the way he did against Stoke. Crockett, Allardyce, respect the point. Oh, boring, crappy football. I don't ask for much. I've not got unexpected and unrealistic expectations. You know, you see these things on TalkSport and in the BBC and all of that, and you people like Alan Shearer going, what do the West Ham fans want? What do they want? They're deluded. I don't think we are deluded. I really don't. I think he's deluded, actually. I don't think he knows what he's banging on about. I think a lot of them do, and you hear him on TalkSport. I don't think we should be top 4. That's not the point. That is not the point at all. What we want is we want to turn up at that stadium, which at the moment does not feel like home, because we have, again, been dragged from our home, dragged from our match day routines, and been put into a stadium that really is not fit for supporting football, and been made to watch a team that has been absolute garbage. The net spend last season, this season, whatever you want to call it, was 13 million. And if we're going to go to a football stadium to watch our team play, I want to see attacking football. I don't want to see us so bothered about the opposition. I don't care if we finish. Listen, I would take 12th. Let me tell you, I would take 12th, I would take 13th, with a cup run and with really good flowing football. I don't care. I just want us to go for the cups. I just want us to be entertained. I want to be out of my seat all the time because we've got some fast player running down the wing who's crossing it over to a striker that we know is fully committed. I want midfielders running around that are closing down. I just want to see a team play football that's entertaining. That's why we pay our money. It's lunacy to pay £500, £600, £700, £800, £900 for a season ticket to go and watch something that's not entertaining. And when I looked at what he was saying, I thought, you know what, this guy may well give us that. Which brings us back to the original point, which is he's got to be backed. I've seen that the speculation, and we're going to do lots of videos about the speculation and the players we've been linked to. We'll do lots of that once it actually happens. We've not been linked to many players, and I'm pleased to see that. Nothing depressed me more than when we were meant to be going and looking for a director of football, and that Moyes wasn't meant to be a shoo-in for the job, that we were apparently definitely looking to get Kearney from Fulham or people like that. And I was thinking, well, how can we have targeted anyone? We don't know who the manager is. So I was really pleased to see all that stuff die down. So now the manager's going to come in, and he needs to be given the tools to do the job. I think we're possibly, it wouldn't surprise you if Yaya Toure or Cazorla came in or something like that. And you know what, if he puts young players around you know, maybe it'll work, but he's got to be given the bigger money to get the younger players and to get the players he really wants, not just these frees who are a little bit older. And again, perhaps looking for a bit of a retirement fund. So it all comes down to backing. I'm suspicious still. I think a little bit suspicious, a bit worried that it might still end in tears, because I do think Pellegrini or anyone else with that squad, that lopsided squad that lacks any real guile or pace in central midfield, that is desperately requiring a bit of pace on the right-hand side, what with Zabaleta being as slow as he is and Antonio being as injury prone as he is. I think there's gaping holes. We don't have a goalkeeper, really, do we? Is Adrian off? I don't know. There's such a lot to do. I think Pellegrini with no money is going to struggle with that squad. I think Pep Guardiola with no money is going to struggle with that squad. So I think we need a couple of £30 million players, and I think that manager's going to have to work his magic and get a couple of £10 or £15 million players as well, maybe from La Liga or Bundesliga, or some player we haven't really heard of yet. A couple of gems. I think you have to pull a few rabbits out of the hat as well. You have to wheel and deal. I think we need to keep Lanzini. So at the moment, I'm still a little bit suspicious and a bit worried that it could all end in tears. But I'm also mindful that I sit here and Bilic, I said the same about Bilic. He wasn't my first choice. Said the same about Moyes. Didn't want Moyes. And I sort of sit here thinking, oh, maybe I'm just a miserable old goat. Do you know what I mean? And maybe just no. I'm not happy with anyone. So I want him to do well, and I'm hopeful he will do well, and I hope he puts those attacking principles into play, but also just hope he's backed, because I do believe he seems like a good man, and he seems like a decent manager. I've looked at his records aside from the Real Madrid and the Man City jobs, and I do think that if he can get players in to play his style of football, and he is backed, that I think he'll do a good job. I think he'll provide good football. I think we can become excited by it. But make no mistake about it, he doesn't have enough of the right players in that squad at the moment to play the Manuel Pellegrini style of football. And I think that is really my main concern. We're going to do loads of videos, as I say, in the week. Gio's going to be uploading his. Keep your we'll do a cup of tea maybe Thursday or Friday, something like that maybe. We'll definitely do one very, very soon. We've got lots of material coming all throughout the summer. Keep your eye on the second channel as well. Paul's on there, Mike's on there. Ian started doing some more your shouts again, which is nice, Mr. B. And we're doing a new show. I'm doing a new show, which I'm going to be starting. I've promised it for a while, but I've just been waiting for things to die down a little bit, which is going to be on the second channel, and that is where we're going to be looking at your comments and addressing them and looking at some of the points from your comments in a show which will be coming out really, really soon. That's going to be on the second channel, but I'll be looking at all the comments from the cup of tea, things like this. So, you know, by all means, write something underneath. Everything gets read, and you know, we'll deal with it all and answer some of your questions and give everybody some of your ideas that you've said in the comments as well, rather than just hearing what myself and Gio think. Right, thanks for listening. What is it? 16, 17 minutes, banged on a bit. Sorry, my tea's gone cold. I do waffle. Let's hope it works out. Let's really hope. I mean, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I hope it works out. Pellegrini's a nice guy. I hope it works out for us fans. And I really, really hope that the owners have learnt their lesson. And I tell you what, I'm not going to hold my hands up and say I was wrong, because I don't think I've been wrong. I think the owners have done bad stuff. But I will concede and hold my hands up and say perhaps they're changing their ways if I see a couple of £30 million players coming through the door and us keeping Lanzini, and us really looking to invest and get behind and supporting the new manager. And on that note, I think I'll leave it. Thanks for watching.